Please.
Pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We're getting some feedback on our system, I don't know why that is.
It might be this thing. I'm not on. Is it your hearing aid? Is it this one? Okay.
I turned it.
Okay.
I got it turned up.
I don't normally
Turn it
know what it is.
down. Down, down. Okay. Roll call, please.
Sarah Tiley, here. Diane Dennis,
Here.
Jim McPhail, absent. Richard Horner,
Here.
Christine Newman,
Here.
Diana Coots,
Here.
Lois Tiley, absent.
Thank you. I'd like to see if we can get approval of the agenda. Any changes to the agenda?
No changes.
No changes? Have motion accept as it is.
I make a motion to approve the agenda.
Favor?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Carried. Public announcements and comments. Is he paying attention or is he sleeping again?
No, he's there.
Okay. Nobody has any? Okay. Old business, environmental cleanup update.
But to start with, we're gonna show just a few pictures that was asked for.
Sorry, I cannot get this to go any bigger on this one. Oh, there it goes.
What was that?
I didn't think I could make it bigger, and it actually went a little bit bigger, but it's gonna slideshow through the pictures.
This is a later one, picture, I think they were started at the back, but we did get a little water seepage, groundwater seepage, so we had to have a tank brought in and we pumped the water into a tank and had it hauled away. That blue tank that you see there was for the water. Or is that a truck? That's a truck, the tank isn't there yet. The water removal was in the bid contract, but the container wasn't, so we'll have to pay for the containers all extra, as an extra.
How much dirt was removed?
A lot of tonnage. And I don't know the amount yet. I haven't got any papers on the
Oh,
amount,
okay.
but it was less than they expected. They didn't have to go quite as wide and out, but they had to go a little bit deeper than they thought they were gonna have to.
How deep did it go?
They were down there, I wanna say, at least 10 feet.
For one day it smelled
Oh,
real
they
bad.
had the hydro hole in the bottom of the hole.
Yeah.
Couldn't hardly see the hydro.
The odor was very strong. It was very hot in
Rough.
the spot right at the corner, especially
Which corner?
the back.
Where the tank
Right there by
was.
the garage door.
By the garage door right
Yeah.
there.
That area was the worst.
Isn't that where that tank used to be in the
I
garage?
believe so. I think there was more than one tank too, if I remember right.
I think there was two. Didn't we have a diesel and a gas at one
I
time?
think so.
Yeah.
They were very efficient. Didn't take them long at all, and I think it was about the third or fourth day they started backfilling.
Did they test that soil once they were down at the bottom?
They tested all the soils.
Okay.
He had container after container samples. They backfilled with sand, with the exception of the top 6-8 inches they put in Stonecrete. I assumed, and that was my fault for not reading the whole document, but I assumed it was gonna be blacktopped, and it isn't. That's not part of the contract. And in a way, it's probably just as well, cause it really needs a year of settling before you put any blacktop down, I would think.
Thought we'd had to pay to have it rolled and compacted, so.
Well, even then, it seems like you
Just
get
about
some
force.
sinkage, so that's probably enough, Jenny. If anybody wants to see them all someday, you can come in and sit in here and watch them all if you want.
We came up and looked at it, you know, when there was water the day that we were up here, you know, quite a bit of water
Yeah,
down
the
there.
day that I came up here, it was, that smell was so bad.
Okay, we didn't smell it. Now, I could smell a scent around the trucks.
It just was like the strongest gas smell. It was so
It's a
bad.
good-
About
from the soil?
what, first 3 days?
Yeah, I was over at the fire department with my husband, and I was just like, whew, lightheaded. It was bad.
You wouldn't want to through match in there.
It was strong.
Oh, we had the fire department.
Yeah.
They gotta practice.
There is contaminated soil yet under the building, cause they can't go under the building and get it, so that's gonna be there. But it's contained. And, there may be a little bit of gas fumes that in the depressed area underneath the concrete that they might have to put a ventilating tube in and with a fan on it. They haven't made that determination yet, so it'd be.
Would they blow it up above the?
It'd go up and then it would blow out. But they haven't decided if it's necessary or not, but, he said they'd know in a few days. So, I couldn't smell anything when I walked back there. Have you been back there, in the garage area back there?
I haven't been in the actual garage, but out in the parking lot, I can't smell
So-
anything. But
So I
it's-
know, it may be okay, but if there is, I'll have to do that, and they actually put the tube underneath the floor, or the concrete,
Get it
and then
ready
it
to
goes
blow
up a
it?
tube, and then a fan's on top of it, I think.
Should that be a permanent installation?
Yeah,
So it's set up so if they have to do it then. Cool. I am so glad that it's done. We have messed around with that for how long to get it done, and I congratulate you, Mr. Collison, for moving on that, because
thank you.
it was just sitting.
He thought by next week he'd have me numbers, so we'd know how much left we had to work on the parking lot.
Okay.
And he had, at the same time, he'd try to get me an answer on the fan thing, so. But it's basically coming right along. It's basically
So
done. With it
Your idea
finalized
now is to just let that be over
Set.
there,
for the
and
next
still,
year,
if we can afford it, do something out here.
go out front.
Don't you think?
We measured yesterday from this corner to the other corner and out. And then we also measured on over to the fire hall concrete drive in the same line as the front. And we thought we'd get a bid both ways.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm also we're gonna take all the shrubbery out and stuff that's lived past its life.
Mm-hmm.
We need to put our crew will put a drain under the stone to keep the water from running in that far corner in the winter time. In the spring, we get water
Okay,
back
you
in.
wouldn't just raise it up higher
That'll-
Can't with
here,
the
so
doors.
you can't, cause the doors are set where they're at. Okay,
And we got a drain right over there, so we can take the tile right to the drain.
okay.
Is that one of the working drains?
I'll tell you later. Yeah, there's no water standing there from the storm we got the other day, so it's all right.
I felt safe asking.
Yeah. But that's where we're at on that project.
Okay,
That's good.
thank you.
Good.
Now,
Moving on to the review the village manager search materials.
I threw a lot of stuff at you, and I know I probably overdid it a little bit with confidentiality, but I'm gonna repeat it again. These applicants have to stay confidential until the night we have the interviews. So please refer to them by number if you wanna talk about them. And I think I mentioned it at the last meeting, but and you guys can argue with me if you want to, but I really think the contract you can write up any way you want to with a new person. And I really think the village manager ordinance is all right as long as you enforce it.
There's one change I looked at,
What's that?
but can we talk about can we talk about these things separately, one at a time?
Yeah, the contract that I have first.
Okay,
And that one, really, you can do any way you want once you find out who you're gonna interview with.
I like Hal Mead's contract. The only thing.
Which one?
Hal
Hal
Mead.
Mead's.
The only thing I would change is I would change, on the second page, number 9, subsection, I think that's supposed to be 1 or I, if employee, that has to do with his retirement age, that would need to go. And so would the double I on the next page.
Right, those,
Would you do,
I agree with Diana, because those two, areas deal strictly with Hal's retirement, and it was just to him personally, it wouldn't be anything you'd,
It would
Put
affect
in-
anybody else.
it wouldn't affect anybody else, so, those were, just for him.
And so that'd be my
So
suggestion,
those
take
two would
those
have to
out.
come out, but,
Give me the numbers again.
It's 9I and 9.
well, it's 9A,
A,
I.
AI, I'm sorry.
the bottom of
So
the,
specific.
would we, I agree with that. Do we take out all of 9A double I, or do we leave the 6-month severance pay part in? Or is that in our,
That'll go.
is that in our handbook, our personnel?
No, that's what we decide with each manager, so we'd have to
Oh,
So that,
decide how much severance pay you wanna give
okay,
them.
so all that double I should be eliminated,
that should just go.
okay.
And then we'll figure out something else.
Right.
I
But
also,
if he resigns, he should give us at least 2 weeks notice.
yeah, is 2 weeks enough? That was my question.
Sure. If
Okay.
they don't wanna be there, we don't want
Yeah.
them here.
You aren't gonna get nothing done anyway.
No,
I thought that was a good contract,
I did too.
and I think it covers everything we need.
The only thing on the addendum here, the duties and job description, the only question I have,
yeah.
For the contract.
the one that acts as personnel director, hiring and firing full-time and part-time employees, yada, yada. Now, I agree with that. The only thing that I don't know is how to say, with consulting the council. And I don't, okay, here it is.
Oh, in the note,
Okay,
okay.
as personnel director down there, leave that.
Well, in my opinion, that's the way it should be. I don't think he should have to talk to us about people he hires and fires.
All right, then if we're not happy, then.
We fire him.
Then we just fire him,
Yes,
okay.
don't you think?
Yeah.
The only other way to do it is if you wanted to have some say in the department heads.
Well,
My-
that was my big, actually, that was.
But I don't think you wanna deal with every employee.
No.
But yeah, my big question was about the police department and the DPW.
Yeah.
That's where I'm at, that he.
And that's your two department heads, right?
But you're right, but if you look at this, it says all full-time and part-time employees,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that, I don't think you wanna do that.
so we don't wanna do which.
You don't want,
All.
you don't want all of them coming to you.
Oh, no, but do you think we even need to do the, chief of police or DPW superintendent?
Yes,
You do?
I think we should have a say
You do?
as far as hiring and firing.
Okay, now, is your say going to be who he hires? Or are we gonna recommend or unrecommend some people and then let him go, or her, go ahead and do what they wanna do?
I think some positions that we at least, we should hear everything they got to say about it. And if there is somebody that has a reason, we should be able to voice it at that time before they hire them. Maybe, it just seems like we should have a little bit of,
I feel like having a say in like the main people, so say in police chief, say in DPW, but do we really need a say in the police officers that are hired?
No,
that
no,
kind
no,
of
we're
thing?
not
Is that
talking
what we're
about
talking
that.
about?
No, we're just talking about the two.
The two, okay.
But the
I
my
think-
hang up
I
here,
think, I think that the heads should be able to fire and hire the way they see fit.
No.
according,
No,
it goes
Oh,
back
I
to the
don't.
manager.
no, the manager hires and fires the
The
way
heads
he
go.
sees fit.
Should the
I
heads.
think we've
the
all-
three
There's
heads.
only one head.
Well,
There's only one head, and that's the village manager.
Okay.
Underneath the village manager, you've got the police chief and the DPW and the people who work in the office. So
Oh, okay. I see
DPW
what
and
you're
police chief, they don't hire and fire their own. The manager should be involved in whoever they're hiring and firing.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
There's only 9 people altogether.
Yeah,
I just see it sometimes as a bit of a problem when we get involved.
Why?
Well,
I mean,
Conflict.
okay, so we don't have a,
Explain.
well, things can go wrong and then you get sued.
so it should be, the manager has the say, but shouldn't he still come to us out of courtesy and say, this is what my plan is, so we know what the plan is? Even though we all will be fully aware that we don't have a say, it's just a courtesy thing.
Well, it could be, and if that manager is the type of manager that wants the council involved, he could certainly do that, but that should be his decision, his or her decision, if they want the council involved in that decision-making process, because when you are the manager, it is good to get,
I mean, I see where you're
it's
coming from.
good.
that's the deal.
I always had them involved, but that was my choice, not necessarily what was written down on a piece of paper.
Right.
Because I wanted to hear from everybody what they thought. But now it's getting so
But we
sticky
can,
as to what
but
you
we
can,
can get sued
like in the
regardless.
interviews and stuff.
Regardless what happens, we still can get sued. I mean, even if the village manager
Oh,
chooses,
yeah.
we can still,
Oh,
we're
yeah.
still responsible, we're still sued.
I understand, but we're not the one doing the depositions and everything.
Oh, we were this time.
That's what I'm telling you. That's what I'm telling you.
you wouldn't on the other
On
one,
the other one, we wouldn't have just be
unless you
them.
get involved like you was with the, or
Yeah.
with the manager.
That seems like the safest,
Point taken, okay.
safest route,
I think-
Which one?
your way.
But I think we need to communicate.
Absolutely.
Whoever we hire,
Just
we,
myself,
we
I'm gonna help you
definitely
back the
need to
number.
be,
We need to meet them,
Yes.
okay? We need,
Good job.
yeah, we need to be consulted, let's put it that way.
so where did that get us?
No place that I
You
just
okay?
scratch out my head.
Well, you could put in there that the manager does the hiring and firing, but any firing of the main department heads is discussed with the council prior to action taken or something. We could do something like that in there, I suppose.
That doesn't blindside us then with something, you know?
Well,
But I still think you want his control, cause if, you know, if you get up here and 3 councilmen want him to go and 3 don't, and the other one's gone, and
Yeah, and I say it should be the manager that does it, but I still feel if he's gonna fire someone, we should know so that we're not blindsided out in the public.
Oh.
And
well, absolutely, we should be informed.
Exactly.
And he can inform us in the form of a newsletter, which I also think he should do every week. Not what we had before, just helter-skelter as they come in. But, that stuff can all be told to us.
Yeah.
And if we don't like it, you just get in your car and drive down there. Or call them. So you think we should change that a little bit?
I just still keep thinking that there should be something else in there. I just don't, I guess I get hiring and firing of all full-time, you know, which, that just, to me, and I understand your points, I do. I just think that we need some say, in the DPW and the police chief. They're the DPW supervisor and the police chief.
They're important, and don't get me wrong. They need to be the right
But
people.
didn't they, when you were manager, weren't the police chiefs, weren't they interviewed by the council, or did you?
No, they were actually interviewed by a panel of police chiefs that I put together. And I sat in the back and listened.
And how did the council come into play that time?
They didn't. Other than at the end, they were told who we picked.
I was lucky the same one was here when I came and when I left, so.
Yeah, I went through a few, but, yeah.
I don't know if I could
I-
find,
I think it should be up to the manager. And then have him inform us of his plan or, and see what we think of it, get our opinions.
So what
You,
do you
you
say
could do it
about-
with final approval of the council. We don't have to get into the interviewing process or,
That, so,
that would be okay.
that would be
yeah.
okay, as long as we know, and we can say no if we don't like it, as a.
Say with final approval of council.
whatever makes you guys happy.
You still have that, 3 will approve it, and 3 won't, you still have that mess.
Well, probably if you got that, you don't want the one person anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
If there's 3 for, and 3 against, it's probably the wrong guy or girl.
I agree.
So we're gonna add that in there then, right, with final approval of council,
Yeah, to that you're
Yes,
talking
to
about
that
the
one.
contract, right?
just to that addendum to the contract, because it says in here that those are his duties and job description. What do we see? As specified in the attached job description number 2, and it's exhibit A.
We'll rewrite it and get it out to you to
Okay.
review it to see if
Okay.
you're happy with it.
Jenny knows where to put it, right? Okay.
Yeah,
I
can we
said
do it?
we, but I really meant my right
You
arm.
didn't mean you at all, yeah. And like all the pay and stuff, that's all gonna be negotiated when we figure
Yeah.
out who's gonna do
Right.
it, so,
And that can just be a blank in there, right?
yeah.
Okay.
We don't need no action on that either, right?
Action on it? I don't
I
think
don't-
so, we
no.
can accept it after we get it back.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay,
No, we started at 5. We're supposed to start at 5.
5 o'clock.
so did that take care of the ordinance also?
Yeah, very nice.
Don't feel bad, I thought it was 5:30.
Is everybody happy with the ordinance?
Everybody have it in
I
ordinance?
just had a,
I am.
I thought
You
it was
had some.
good. I just had a little question, but maybe it won't matter. On our ordinance, on the back of the first page, number 7, we had a problem with this. And Dennis, you said a lot of places, they can buy things around 1,500
There
or
it is.
more. And I know one of these in here, there was no limit on spending. But one of these had an emergency clause where they
Yeah,
could,
I like that
Um,
one. That was, I feed that one.
you
in.
could run into an abuse of that, which we did, and, I wonder if we could add, I think they have the right to purchase, but if it's frills or something not necessary, what do I wanna say? You need money in order to operate, I understand that, but I don't know if we could add anything. One time, something was bought and we rarely used it, and it was expensive. Well, more than once.
Well, what you want the
What?
1,500 to be is, for emergency purposes during the month, so it doesn't have to come back to us for approval, like a wheel falls off something, or
Yeah,
they're allowed to spend that in emergencies, not for frivolous things.
parties, festivals, movies.
You know, because they
Diane has a
define,
long list.
yeah,
Well, I just feel that sometimes that money can be frittered away where you,
Well, it can, but 99% of your managers aren't going to, and if you get one that does, you need to enforce the
okay,
contract with, that's not what that's meant for, and again, you'll be dismissed.
okay.
I mean,
so you see that as something that we just need to watch.
yeah,
Well, the first time you see something that doesn't fall in that category, you say to them, you can't do this. And don't do it
Like this
again.
water project we've been working on. I mean, we've run into all kinds of issues there and we had holes that, we had to fix some pipe and get people water, you know? and
Yeah, I
You can't pin
understand.
them so tight that they aren't
Yeah.
able to deal with that. And you don't want a special meeting every time something like that comes up.
No, I wasn't thinking
Well,
of that at all. If you have.
But
to-
that's part of it. I mean, if you start putting limits on that,
So it's pretty much just something we have to watch.
I think you
and-
just, I don't, I've never misused it as a manager. I'm sure Chris never did, and it generally don't happen. And if it
Okay.
does, you should
Okay,
rein it in.
Bite it in the butt.
no, I
Audience.
think for something to operate, like what we need, and they should be able to purchase what we need, but.
On section 280, supervision
Of ours,
of hours, yeah. Said no, the council shall not dictate to the village manager on and on about, the employment and everything, and except for the purpose of inquiry, the president and the council and its members shall deal with departments under the jurisdiction of the manager through the manager. I guess we had some issues with that. Now, for purposes of inquiry, I think somehow we need to point out to a new manager that means we can talk to our village employees if we want to. Because as I understand the village council, that there's no reason why we shouldn't be able to walk in any area of this office at any time that we want to and talk to anybody. And I don't mean to be, I haven't done that, and I don't mean in a disruptive way, but I think we were told we could not talk to the personnel. And I don't like that situation.
you should always be able to talk to any personnel,
Right.
but you shouldn't be able to order any of them around,
No, I didn't say that.
other
but,
than the
you know,
manager.
Right.
So as long as you make that break.
So, but
I mean, if you come in and tell the police chief to go ticket that guy over there because he's got a flat tire sitting in his yard, that's wrong. If you come in and,
But I think,
You can
now,
come in and say to the, manager, have the police chief go over there and ticket the guy
Yes.
that's there. That's how you do it.
yeah,
I mean, if you feel you
Chain
need
of
to do
command.
it.
yeah,
but okay, so I think we're covered okay here as
I think, yeah,
But because it says except for the purpose of inquiry, and which means that's what the inquiry would be, you know, to the DPW guy when you see him out there, oh my gosh, what happened here, you know, that kind of stuff.
if you see them out working in a hole and you wanna know if they're working on a gas main or a
Right.
water main break or plug sewer, there's nothing wrong with stopping and asking them. But then if you
If they
start
say
telling them how to
gas,
fix
turn
it, then you.
If they say gas, turn it in right away.
Yeah, go stop it.
I actually had to do that the other day because we had a wonderful paper wasp nest at the park and my daughter got stung 32 times on the back.
Hmm.
And it was like one of those things where you need to really take care of that, like, that's super important.
Well,
Okay.
yeah. What happened the last time is we were told, do not talk to the
Right.
employees. And I think it gives the employees the wrong
Impression.
of us too, if we don't say hi to them in a store or in,
Well, yeah.
it just
That's-
gets ridiculous.
That's
I
not
mean,
what it's all about.
you and I both know, we think everybody should get along. I mean, that's what you try to do.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's what it says, it's just how he took it.
Well, that's what I'm saying, but as I look at it, because I didn't see any reason why we couldn't, you know what I mean? But I didn't like it that we could not.
Well,
Again, I think maybe a closed session for personnel matters and say, hey, we are your boss. This is how we read the contract, and that's, if you don't wanna live with it, then bye-bye.
Because see, I look at it, the whole.
But you're not gonna have that all the
As a
time.
no, I know that, but we want to be very careful when we choose a new manager, looking for flexibility, I guess. But I think the village council, we're at the top there. The manager is under us,
Right.
and then everything's under there. And we were led to think that we had a whole different kind of
Yeah.
arrangement, and, I didn't like that. But other
And
than,
you shouldn't,
right,
cause it doesn't flow well that way.
and if we have a decent contract, then we have something much easier to deal with then. Okay. Those are my issues.
So Lois, we decided to go with Hal's contract.
And make some changes that would, the things where it's talked about retirement, which,
Take out what dealt
Yeah.
with just him.
okay.
And we're gonna retype it and get it back to you to look
Yes.
at.
They're gonna fix it.
As far as the applicants, I picked out what I considered the top 5, and I didn't know any of them. And I know some of you guys may. I don't think we want to interview 5 unless you feel you want to. So if you have 1 or 2 you want to kick out, you could make a motion that please remove number 3, and if you get 4 votes, number 3 won't be part of the interview process. If you want to do all 5, I don't have a problem, but
Why do you not want to interview the 5?
it's all right. I don't have a problem with it. I just typically we do about 3, but I thought the 5 were pretty equal. So I thought if you guys know something I don't or have anything,
I had,
Oh, go ahead.
I had a few no's.
Four?
I don't know,
I didn't know that
should I
they
say
liked
them
it.
now, or,
Yeah, I'm not a fan of 4, number 4.
well,
Mhm, I saw that.
yeah, we can say that now.
yeah.
Okay,
I didn't want to.
I didn't care for 3 or 4.
Same.
Okay,
Those were my 2 that I
All
wasn't
right.
a fan of.
Well, those are the ones I thought was the best.
Oh, come on. Of course you can say that.
I don't even know who they are. I gotta look.
I was intrigued by 3. 4 is a no.
Yeah, I was
want-
not.
No.
Nope.
What do you think, Lois? What did you look at them?
Well, just deal with the one and then we'll go to the
Go with
next
number
one.
4 first?
Yep.
Okay, I don't like number 4. Anybody
Same.
else?
Nope.
Make a motion. to
I make a
remove it.
motion, we remove number 4.
I will second that motion.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Number 4 is so removed.
Do you want this separate so you can shred them or something, Jenny?
Good idea.
Yeah, that's a
Yeah.
good idea.
So we'll turn
You're gonna
these
pick them
into
all
you?
back up.
Yeah,
right?
just give them all to me or
Okay.
put them in a pile and I will.
So now we're on 3.
I think so.
What's your next one, Diane?
3.
Well, I didn't care for 3, but I don't know what other people think, so.
I didn't care for 3 either.
Same.
That's the one I didn't care for.
Really?
Sounds like that one's a.
I thought he would know a lot about water, sewer, streets. But still, I was not,
We have Spicer for
I
that.
was not enamored by him. Huh?
We have Spicer for that.
Yeah.
But, I'm sorry, Chris, I won't interrupt no more.
Yeah. I really don't, I don't care one way or the other.
I have my own.
It sounds like
reasons.
there's 4 against already, so.
Yeah,
Well, the one thought I had, and I haven't interviewed or called any of them yet. After this meeting, I'll make my calls, but I thought an engineer probably would be making a lot more money engineering than he would doing some of the things he's been doing.
Amen.
If he was-
Yeah.
That's the
Yeah.
only,
Amen.
but I wanted to talk, I was interested to talk to him about it if you guys thought he wanted to do it, 'cause there may be a good reason.
Always worry about somebody who appears to be too overqualified. Does that make sense?
And
Well,
why they're coming down to something.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
Anybody gonna make a motion to drop
I will
number 3?
motion to get rid of candidate 3.
And I will
Fire?
second.
Candidate 3.
Support?
She,
Well,
did.
support.
I did.
Oh,
supported.
okay. All those in favor?
I,
Aye.
Opposed?
here are the things for Jenny to get.
Okay, so,
Nice of you to join us.
Oh, that's for Jenny. Correct.
Yes.
no problem, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
This is for
I was
Jenny.
in fiberglass, I had to go home and clean up real quick.
This one.
You got here in time to make a motion to adjourn.
You did.
To do what?
Make a motion to adjourn.
Let's do it.
Sorry, Jim.
Well, see
Okay,
what Jim
anybody
thinks
got
about
a-
our thoughts.
A third discussion here.
We're in the,
We're going through these.
manager's things,
Okay,
and we've eliminated 2, we kept 3.
all right.
So,
But we got rid of candidate 3 and candidate 4.
right,
They were giving those sheets back to Jenny and she's gonna
she's
shred
giving them all back to Jenny. We're not-
All of them?
Yep.
Okay. So which ones now?
We got rid of candidate
We're down to
3
1, 3,
and
1, 2,
candidate
and 5.
4.
All right.
I would like to keep into the interviews. Are we going to interview these people?
We'll get them back.
We'll bring them back to you.
Yeah, we'll get them
We
back.
just don't want them out floating around.
All of them are supposed to.
Well, that's down to
Yeah,
3.
that's-
Those are 3 we're gonna interview?
That's what I was thinking,
Oh,
yeah.
okay,
Are we gonna look at these?
so we're all in agreement on the
Yeah.
3 we're gonna interview.
1, 2, and
Yep.
5, right?
Yep, 1, 2, and 5.
So,
Does anybody want to talk
Can we,
about these?
can we keep
Yeah,
these
we
until
all
the
got it.
interview?
do you want to?
No,
Or
not
or
necessarily.
Start over.
I mean, if
I don't
anybody
think
has
so, Lois,
anything they
until
wanna talk
we're
about.
interviewing them.
I don't want anybody seeing them.
Yeah,
I don't either, that's why I
No.
thought we'd
I
take
think
them
we ought
back
to turn
and
them all in.
put them back out for our
Just
next
leave
meeting.
all
Give
the
these
things
new
here.
ones.
Yeah.
That's nice.
I'll just hang on to them and I'll put them in the vault so that way you guys have them for when it's interview time.
Hey, that'd be a good idea.
Keep our questions.
So these ones are
I see
which
Dennis
ones?
put the questions.
Yeah, and
on.
These are
just
the
gonna
said
come
ones.
in
Did you like the
scribble
questions?
stuff,
I
that's
did
my-
like the
Yeah.
questions.
In the no
I know your
question?
handwriting.
Yes.
I understood the
The
no
ones that were-
questions.
Keeping.
The other the questions you can ask, you can expand on them. I mean, that doesn't limit you totally. If their answer causes a question, fire the question. As long as it doesn't fit in the
Not
25
personal,
area.
yeah.
Is there any questions we can?
Or
Not
if you
yours, it's a
think
whole
of something you
Those-
wanna
those
ask
we
and
cannot ask.
wanna call me and say,
Yeah,
add
can we
this,
run it by you
There's a-
first?
There's a
Yeah.
list that we can.
you know, we just wanna be careful. We got one lawsuit, we don't
Yeah, we
need
don't need
another.
another.
Yeah, we just covered this at work, what we can
And cannot say.
ask, and it's a very blank page. And the
And the do not.
encyclopedia of do not touch, do not ask.
Anything personal that would.
Somewhere in here, Lois, is a list of questions you can ask. Oh, you found them, okay.
I would like to, can we ask how they view the relationship between the manager and the council?
Sure,
Cause that was, I just thought that's important.
I thought I had something
think
kinda
you
like
did.
that, but maybe it wasn't.
Communication with the village council and
Right.
staff is our number one priority. What is your style to keep everyone informed?
Write that down.
How
Maybe
did you
we
have
have two of
that,
them.
how you had that worded, it was how you view the relationship?
How do they, view the relationship between the manager and the council? And that just is a separate, and that would be separate from how do you keep everybody informed? Just stick it in there in the same thing, or however you
And-
wanna put it in there.
We can ask questions, like hypotheticals, if someone comes in the office and they're angry about a water bill, what are you gonna do with that?
That's, there's that
Yeah,
number
how,
9.
like,
That's
you
in
hear
there.
them.
Yeah,
is it
number
in there?
9 is that
Okay.
question.
Because you can hear them from your office out in the main office. When are you gonna step in and fix it? How would you handle that?
And
Cause
if
you
we
can
have
have a
higher
whole lot
water
of
bill
that.
or higher.
Yes, they are.
If,
For 10 years.
when,
Might be
Yeah,
busy place.
water.
Won't be long.
There's gonna be a lot of
10 years.
number 5, it says we have one union police. Is that just because we have one officer that's
No.
union?
No, we have one
No.
union and it's the
One
police.
One
One
union,
union.
police
One
contact, I
union.
don't know, maybe it
And it's the
didn't.
police,
All right, yep,
is what it should.
I see what it says, okay. I was trying to figure that one out.
Oh,
You put a comma there in a
I
little.
was hoping
No,
that,
that makes sense now, yeah.
I was hoping that'd go away, but it hasn't, so.
It didn't go away, huh?
No, it's not going away.
There was one comment in there on, guy number 5 that I actually liked, and you know, I pick everything apart. But where he said that he thought most problems were due to, lack of communication. And I really think that's the case.
Oh, no question about it.
And we need somebody who can communicate not only with the council and employees, but also with the people of the village.
Probably shouldn't say it, but after all the years of experience I've had, probably communication with the residents and the council is 85% of the job.
It
Yeah.
is. It is.
And you can, if you're good at communicating, you don't hardly need college.
You don't.
It's dealing with people. and common sense and,
And you know what, I would agree with you 100%, and I've been to college and graduated, but I do think that, you know, just the common human approach is the most
I
important thing.
didn't go to college and graduate,
You were good.
and I was good. Common sense, I was good.
Not like you, I always agreed with her, but you know, but I'm saying she did, if you disagreed with her, she did listen to you, and she told you why she thought you were wrong, in the whole thing, but, you know, we won't, don't go
she
there.
always did that.
But yeah, but I mean, at least to talk to people and listen to their concerns and to understand that the concerns are legitimate, you
And
know,
the
from
other
their
half
point
of
view.
it is to know who to call to get the answer you're looking for.
Right.
You've got to get out there and know
Get
all
on
the
the
people
phone or
around.
see them
Reference around
something
you.
You
besides
need to go to
email.
those meetings, you need to learn who those people are, and they're more than willing to help you with anything, most of them.
I was
Some
t-
of them not
I
so
was
much.
telling Chris today that when I was here, the lift station on I think it's Maple Street, the dry well pipe at the bottom broke. So all the electrical switches are down there, all the pumps are down there. So nothing was pumping, it just kept, and it come off the top and right into the river.
I don't know what happened to us.
And it was flowing good, and I had no idea what to do. And I called Saginaw Township, and I knew Jerry Francis, who was the DPW director there. Told him what was going on. He said, "Sit tight, I'll be there." He brought 3 trucks and 3 crews and a whole bunch of equipment, and within about 2 hours, it's all taken care of. He never sent us a bill, nothing. He just, but I knew him from going to some meetings and knew who to call.
The best CEOs, they'll tell you left and right. They don't have to have all the answers, they just have to know who does.
Yep,
What you know, who you
that's the
know.
truth.
Yep.
Well,
Anything else?
Not on
no,
that issue.
we got 3 of them, that's good.
Jim, we got pictures if you wanna see some before you go home. Jim,
Uh,
I'd
The
love
dig.
to run
The
'em.
hole in
The
it.
Yeah,
dig.
I would, actually. Yeah, please.
I can, do you want me to show
You can show me
right now after
afterwards.
the meeting?
Yeah,
Okay,
you can show
yep.
me afterwards, that'd be
Cool.
great.
Yep, I got them on right on here.
Did it go any further than what they thought?
No, in fact, the hole's a
Less?
little bit
It
smaller,
looked
but a
like it
little
was
bit
smaller,
deeper,
Yeah,
a little bit deeper.
so that where we thought the water path, it didn't follow the path, the incline, that's nice.
They didn't do that.
That is nice.
So that's not going to involve any of the yards back behind us or anything?
We thought we were gonna have to, in fact, we called them and met with them. We thought that pine tree was gonna have to come down, that big one right
Yeah.
next to the fence. But we didn't have to, we got to the point where it tested okay just as we got right
Nice.
there. So,
Yeah, I drove by a few times and it looked like it was smaller. I was waiting for it to expand.
Yeah, I thought it was gonna go bigger than that.
Yeah.
Yeah, they said they could smell it.
well, it was strong.
Well,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you could smell it. I drove by with the windows open.
Okay,
Oh, yeah.
you could smell it.
Uh-huh.
Good.
And what is item D? Nothing? Well,
I
done
have
with
to go
that
home.
too?
There's one question I have, when do you propose to schedule these interviews?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's right.
I didn't bring it in, do you remember?
Well, we talked today, and then I got home and I thought, why don't we do it like on, do you run background checks just on the person we end up with? Or on the 3 we're interviewing?
Background checks I do after we pick somebody.
Yeah.
Okay. Why don't we do it the day before the next council meeting? The 10th?
I think you have that Christmas meeting the day before.
Oh, okay. Then we thought the 18th.
The 18th.
That would
Yeah,
be
That's a
the
lot.
week after, September.
That'd give us a little more time to run the background checks and. Well,
The regular meeting is
the
on the
police and
11th.
the financial take a little bit longer too, so.
So you could do the 18th or the 25th, but now we're pushing it into October.
Yeah.
If we did it, we interviewed the 18th,
Then you've got
we only got
3
3
weeks. You've got 3 weeks
3 weeks
before
that
the next council
we can
meeting.
do it. Should be able to make a decision at the regular council meeting. Let's try to do it quicker. If we
That's
get
what
it
you
done.
want to mean.
Whatever we could do on the 11th would be great.
I think so.
If
I mean,
we
even
can.
if we can't, but I'd like to give it a good shot.
In October.
No, September,
September.
before the meeting.
September 11th is council meeting,
No,
right?
September 11th is our next meeting.
Yeah.
So the 18th
You're looking at the week after?
the week
Yeah, week
after,
after the interview.
to interview him.
You're looking at a couple hours.
Is that gonna be a closed meeting?
No, it's open to
No, it's
public.
open.
All right.
That won't violate their right to privacy?
No, at that point,
It has to
people
be
know.
by law.
It
Open.
has to be held open.
Do you want this wonderful
Okay.
book that says it?
At
'Cause I
that-
thought the
at that
same
time-
thing.
At that time, the public don't have any right to ask questions, do they?
No,
It's just.
They don't have the
us.
right, but some communities allow that. I'm not suggesting that you should.
I wouldn't, I'd like to restrict that until we pick. I mean, that could go
I could go
on
on
forever.
forever.
And then the wrong questions could be asked.
Yeah,
I would,
yeah, it's better not to.
yeah, I would rather not.
So we make it a point right at the beginning of the meeting.
Questions are to be asked by the council members.
well, in reality, you're supposed to only be able to say anything
During those 2 times.
during public comment. After that, you don't say anything until public comment at the end.
I guess that would be
So,
all right. They
you know,
can make they can make their 3-minute comment at the end
The
after
people
the,
will be gone if they got comments to
Yeah.
make, I would think,
but I don't want direct, I don't agree with direct questions.
No,
Mm-mm.
no,
I
not
think
of
it would
the
interrupt the
applicant.
process.
Well, especially in light of what you cannot ask them,
Well,
because, you
yeah.
know, there's gonna be somebody ask it, and then we are gonna be sued big
Yeah.
time.
Well, I also don't have my employees sitting in on interviews,
Right.
asking questions. It would just hinder the process. I wouldn't
Mm-mm. We
want
did that once here.
And the meeting, after the meeting, is that gonna be at 5, or is that gonna be at 7?
Well, that's gonna be at
The
probably
18th,
7 on the 18th, don't you think?
What's a good time?
I
Well,
mean, some of these people are working.
True.
What do you wanna do?
I mean, as long as you let
can
them
you be
know
here by
ahead of time.
6?
yeah, today was just, I'm in
Yeah.
fiberglass. I gotta go home and shower yet.
Um,
Oh my goodness, it was bad, yeah.
I mean, you're gonna, well,
6 o'clock?
yeah, start at 6 and then we'll have leave like a half hour for an interview and then 15 minutes in between.
Yeah,
So that we can
Yeah.
talk about them a little bit
Yeah,
and
that's what we
then
did,
bring the
wasn't
next
it?
one in.
It is what we did.
yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think it's better to start at 5?
No, I think 6 will be all right.
Okay.
So,
Eight
6 o'clock
o'clock.
the 18th?
18th at 6.
Today, I don't know
Yeah.
why I thought it was 5:30. I've
And-
been sitting home till the
Are we gonna do anything with this on the 11th?
No.
Okay,
No,
all right.
That'll just be, well, we're gonna do water rates and stuff on the 11th, aren't we? I think the 11th's pretty full.
Okay.
Did a good job, Dan.
I think having the water rates done by the time you hire somebody is
A good
a
idea.
smart idea.
Mhm.
You don't want their first meeting to be,
I know.
I would
We gotta
have
get
to,
somebody
but I
to
just hate to.
Just when the rates go up.
Jenny can handle it.
Public comment?
Better eat,
Yeah, allow it.
right?
Public comment.
Got it.
Time for public comment,
I know.
please step up front.
My name is Kenneth Pooch, you know who I am. With due respect to the taxpayers of this community, we're the ones that put you people behind that desk. Because we can't all monitor what is going on in this community. Therefore, we hired you to see what's happening. I also believe you people should be involved in everything that goes on in this community, such as hiring and firing personnel. I think with the last manager, we had a problem there. I think more has been done with the part-time manager we have here right now, and the short time he's been there, than what's done in the 3 years or whatever the other one was here. I believe also the people back there should be able to speak to anybody that is working for this community. They're taking my place as a taxpayer. And I think the taxpayer should be able to ask any question that involves him in one way or another, and not be excluded from no comment or no questions asked because he's not a member of the village council. I think that the last manager, another thing, I don't think in the contract there should be anything in there, a 6-month severance pay. You're paying a man 40,000 or whatever, that's not even here, that screwed up his job. You're paying another man to take his place. We can do a lot of other things around this community with $40,000. If the man isn't doing his job, he's gone. Or he should be asked to resign. And I think the community as a whole, the taxpayers, should know what the hell kind of a contract you're giving these people that you hire. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Coots. You got anything to, want to speak to us? No? If there's no other public comment, I guess we need a motion to adjourn. See?
Make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Please take your 5